All right, loves. I see that I had a little conflict going on. I think I had two lives going on at one time. But we are here and you're in the right place if you're hearing my voice right now. Let's see what we have on here. Veronica, what's up, love? And Erica, y'all go check out Erica's group. She's doing a live tonight in her Blingers group, I believe. Right, Erica? Yes, so if you're interested in learning how to bling things, that's where you want to be. Jesse, I'm glad to catch you live, love. And Ken, what's up, Ken? All right, so we're going to get started on this one. This one was one a lot of people were excited about, so it made me happy to be able to do this one. So we did this one as a graduation representation and remembrance, but keep in mind, it can be done for anything, birthday, whatever you can think of. So I'm liking to do these switch ups so I can give you different ideas of how to apply these concepts to the same template. So for this one, we are going to do a remembrance version. Let me grab that image. And as a matter of fact, it's going to be a few images. So the first thing I'm going to do, if I want to change out the photo first, I'm going to right click on the existing photo. There it is. And I'm going to switch it off. And this just lets me know where that photo is. And I'll go ahead and drag in our new photo. And we have a beautiful young subject here. She's obviously giving us a full smile right now, so that really makes me smile too. And I heard she was a Steelers fan, so no, I thought I had an image with her in her Steelers shirt too, but we'll go ahead and do this one, and then I'll show you, even if it shows a single photo, how we can do multi photos. So let me just go ahead and drop the other two photos in here too, 1 and 2. And then we can decide which one we're going to use for the main image and which one we may use for alternate images. I'm really torn which one you know what, let's do the burgundy one in the middle, and then let's do the golds on the side. It's a little appropriate, you know. She's looking golden, just like the ornate designs and stuff right here. So you have a couple of different options with the text on here. And of course, this is not the layout yet. You know how I feel about things being cut up all harsh and stuff. You know, I'm going to feather that out. But for right now, let's just make sure that we have the text on here, the colors that we want, and we can make that work. And as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and close out of that. Let's just say you had, now this is something that you're printing for your own use. So I'm going to find me the Steelers logo. And maybe we'll incorporate that in the background somewhere. Maybe we'll even put it inside of these. I don't know. We'll see in just a second. You know how my brain works. When it works, it definitely goes overboard. All right, so let's do a Steelers logo and SVG. I'm just typing that into my browser right now to see if I can find me a quick little SVG I can use. And open the image in a new tab. Got him. Save image as. We'll save it there. Then I can close out of my Chrome. All right, so I'm going to show you the different elements that we can really work with here, changing the colors of the clouds is here as well. Let's see. For this one, let's say that we want to do, I'm going to go ahead, bring over my Steelers logo. And I'm just going to drop it onto the artboard here. And I'll bring it smaller and pull it over to the side just so we can use it as color reference or design reference. We may or may not use it. Not sure at this point right now. Okay, so what we do want to do is go ahead and change some colors up. So what I may do is for foreground colors right now, for the clouds, I don't. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and do a duplicate of this pink and yellow. So we'll right click, duplicate that layer. That way I keep it. But I can double click on it and make it my own new gradient. So let's say I want to do the red, then I want to do yellow, and then I'm going to do blue. Let's just see if that's how we're going to do it. We'll say OK to that, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead also and save that as a new swatch. I may end up switching it up and putting some white in between there just so it doesn't look so primary colored, but we'll see. I also have these levels on here that allow me to change up the color as well. And for my foreground clouds, right now the opacity is set at 82, and it's set lower so that you can still see the Greek key design, kind of like it's amongst the clouds. And let me see if I want to change. Yeah, I'm going to change the angle too, just so we can see what it looks like when it's not just going all the time from top to bottom gradient. And as a matter of fact, we can take this same gradient here and we can Alt click and drag it. And I'm going to also do a version that I will clip to. There's some clouds that are in the background of this, which we may not see because the photo is so large, but there's that version, and then there's another one on the background here. So that's our full background. And that one sort of affects the clouds and everything here as well. And you can tell also when you drag it like this, whatever properties you selected, be it the angle, the gradient colors, now those are also propagated to these other areas where we can apply it. And I'm struggling right now with how I want to do the Steelers and the glam, because she's such a gorgeous model that I wanted to be glam too. And I'm sure by the looks of her photos, I did find the Steelers photo too. Let me find it. I'm going to use that one as inspiration. Whenever I do remembrance designs, I do spend a little extra time on them. Y'all know that. A lot of extra time most times is because I'm trying to understand, like, from the photos and from what people really liked, how I can make that speak through a design that would really speak to her loved ones, because that's what this is for. It's for remembrance. So here, I'm going to go ahead and crop this down. You can see even in her Steelers gear, she's glammed up. And then this way I could understand it. And we may not use the logo. We could, you know what, let's just go with the theme. The yellow. It looks like she might even have some animal print in there. Let's do that. Let's just go with the golds. And turn that off. And this will be interesting too, to see how we can go with the clouds design and maybe one of the animal prints. So I think I did one with the zebra. I have zebra and I have the leopard print. So I'm going to take off the zebra print, let the sky be in the background, and then maybe let the leopard print hang down low. So we'll get the golds in there. And then of course I have the layer above with the foreground cloud. So I can either turn those on or turn them off. And this is the inside of my frame there. So the inside of my frame right now does have the clouds. And I'll show you a little trick here to kind of cleaning up the top of the head so it doesn't look cut off. You can actually put it inside of the frame. That's your first thing you can do. If I wanted to drag her inside of the frame, I would literally take the photo and drag it to this layer where it says frame inside. And then I would also have to put my wings inside. That is the technique that I use for the graduation photo, because I used the photo on the inside, but I also made the graduation photo pop out of from the outside. You see that? And this one is linked to this one. So I have it in the background and the foreground. So for this one, I like when it pops out. I think it, there's my grad, there she is. So I think it adds a very different look to it, where it doesn't look so flat. So I think that's what we're going to keep going with. Just add her back, and I'm going to take her out of the frame. I want to pop it out. And the easiest thing we can do is go ahead and do a layer mask on there and just fade off these edges. So we'll do if I'm on the brush key, if I do Control Alt and then I right click and hold that right click down, I can make my brush bigger or smaller, go up and down. Same thing, go up and down. I can make it my hard brush or my soft brush. So we want to make sure that we're painting with black, so black is going to conceal. And all I'm doing is just wisping away some of that graphic. Now I'll show you what this does that I don't like. With the top of the head, it almost makes it so that you don't have enough data up there. So when you take it away sometimes, now she has plenty of hair right here, but if this would cut really close to the top of her hairline and I would have wiped that away, it would look like she had no hair. So this actually looks fine. That's what I was concerned about, whether I would be able to fade that off or if I were going to have to make some hair. So what I would do if this didn't look right, I would actually make hair up here, and then either it would look right or I could fade that hair off. But this looks good. And then right now the wings are in front of her, kind of encasing her, and I like that look. And then the burgundy and the gold just really go well together. So I'm liking the look of this so far. Let's go ahead and do the same thing. We're going to fade off the edges of this image. We're going to add a layer mask here. Grab our brush. I'm going to make this bigger and just kind of wisp it away there. And this is all subjective, how you feel like it looks good. So I like using the brush because if I use the gradient tool, sometimes I end up with these straight lines, and we have shoulders and the roundness of the head here. So I'm able to kind of work with different shapes rather than just squares. So we still have the image on the left here. Let's go ahead and add a layer mask to that one. Same idea, let's fade off the edges. I don't want to see any harsh lines. And I can't really see what's over here. I'm just going to assume that there's something there. And this is if we're doing all over. If we weren't doing all over, then I probably would not place these like this. I probably would place them more in the center where you would see them. But when you do have all over, you can take advantage of that. Control T, I'm just going to transform and bring that down a little bit so that we don't cut off any of this beautiful image. Same thing here. because you already know you're going to lose some detail when you get into the sleeve area and all those seams and stuff. You're going to lose something, and I just don't want it to be something important like a facial feature, something like that. So we also have two different options for the text here. So we have like the gold, and then I also have one where it's color and clear. And I'm going to use the color and clear because I think the tagline, and if you're here with me, let me know. Her tagline was just crystal, I believe. And I'm too scared to open up my my Facebook right now. So I believe she said that. She used to use this as her tagline. So let's put just, and then I believe it was crystal. And because it's clear, I think it kind of goes. See. Oh, you know what I want to do before I did that? Let me undo. And just in case people want to keep the congrats grad, I'm going to duplicate that group. And I'll call this one just crystal. That way the winner of the template, she has the text that she wants on there. So just. And then I might change crystal. Let me see what it looks like. Skinnier. We'll do Control T because I want to make sure I'm not coming outside of this dotted line when it comes to my essential graphics, meaning essential text, photos. For instance, like these are my extra photos. I'm not as concerned about my main photo being cut off. That should be your essential focus there. So crystal, let's see a different font for that. I still want something clean and standard. Here we go. Because I want to still be able to see through it. Control T, I'm going to just pull that down a little bit. That way you get to see how even when you change up fonts, it should keep the same type of the layer style or effect there. So we're good on that one. And of course the just we can change the color of. We just double click on the effects here. And we'll do the color overlay. Right now it's at pink. Let's see, we can do the yellow. I think the yellow looks good. We can even do a gradient. We could do the yellow and the gold. Honestly, I think that yellow looks really good. All right, so, and of course, if we wanted to put dates there, we could. She also had a saying that people won't remember your words, but they'll remember how you make them feel, something to that extent. So if you had like a tagline or something like that, you could put there. You can also, of course, put the birth dates and the sunset dates on there, but I don't have those dates. So normally what I'll do is I'll just put month XX, and then I'll put the year, and then I'll put just put that so that whoever is editing the template, or if I need to go back and edit the template, I have that there, and that will stand out to someone. If you put wrong dates there, just to like as placeholders, people may not recognize it, especially if it's very sensitive to them or they're really overwhelmed. You know, you show people these type of things, they get really overwhelmed, really happy. You know, they're crying and stuff, and they may not notice something like the dates being wrong. So I put something obvious so that they can make sure, hey, you know, after you're done loving the photo, just make sure that those dates are correct for me. Let's see, something else. Do I like? I think I'm gonna take that one out. let's see. I'm going to see what I really want to do with the design down here. I kind of like it being subdued a little bit, the animal print, because we have another version of it where it's very apparent. But I think for me, I want to see this color kind of adapt a little bit better with the animal print. So let me play with, it's already blue. Let me play with the blend mode and see if I get anything that I like. And this is me, like, for real. This is what what I end up doing a lot of times when I'm trying to understand how I want to design the flow for a particular customer. I like that. The pen light, it lets some of the clouds come through, but I still see my color from, yeah, I like the pen light. And I'm going to have to make sure that I change it back because if it's not on normal for some of these other color effects, you probably won't get the same effect, and y'all will be messaging me asking me how I got that. Okay, so I think that is it. I think that's it. And here's another thing that a lot of folks are doing. Like, you can take the non-emphasis photos and you can bring down the opacity of them. Now in this case, my background's too busy to do that. Or some people make them black and white. If you wanted to make them black and white, you could do a, let me group these first. And I will call these the sleeve photos. So you can turn them off or on, and then layer, new adjustment layer, let's do black and white. And then you could do those to where the main image stood out more. But I really like the colors of them, so I'm gonna turn that off. And so I want to show you all also how to turn this into a 13 by 19 design. So one thing we can do is go ahead and grab, I think I have one of my masks open here. And I'm going to drag it to where basically I would end up clipping all my background and everything. Because a lot of you ask me how I change the design to 13 by 19, and this would be that step. So usually when I'm all done with the full size, this may be something that you want to practice. These are my little grunge masks that I have here. And obviously this design is wider with the whole Versace look to it. So what I'm having to do, let me pull this up a little bit, is this isn't exactly going to be 13 by 19. It'll be a little bit shorter. And I'm holding down shift right now so I can squish this disproportionately. And that black is just allowing me to see where my design is going to go from here. So I definitely want my frame design to stay intact. It's going to pop out of my background design. So I'm going to take all of this. I lied. I'm going to take all of this, hold down my shift key, and group, and we'll call that background. So I have caps lock on. Background. And then I'm going to go ahead. I have two different things going on with this grunge. I have a mask on top of my mask. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this layer mask because I like that it has the little paint droplets in it. Then I'm going to bring it below, hold down Control while I select the thumbnail there, and that way when I go to my background and I add a layer mask, so I'm going to do layer mask, and I only want to reveal what I have selected, so reveal selection. And now I can go ahead and get rid of that grunge mask. And I also like to unlink it here so that I don't move the whole background together. I'm just moving my layer mask. And I want to do Control T, make sure everything is within this design space. Then I'll turn off this here, see how my design looks. Now, just because you make something all over does not mean it's going to have the same orientation and setup as your 13 by 19. So I know that I like this for my all over look. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and disable my mask here. And we'll take off my guidelines there so I can really see everything. Export that, save it for web. And these files are huge, these all over shirt files. So I know you get excited about the all over shirts, but please keep in mind these are huge files. So what I like to do is go ahead, if I'm going to create my all over, and I'm going to call that, I think, 4, probably 5. And I'm going to save this. Now, before I do anything to take it to a 13 by 19 size, let's say this is what your customer wanted for their all over print. They approved it, it's ready to go. Then the next thing is, if you wanted to make 13 by 19 versions of it, go to Save As. Oh, it's still saving. Save As, and what I do is I take the words all over off the front so I know it's a totally different file. And we'll let that save. Well, what I'm doing for my 13 by 19, I get rid of layers I don't need. Of course, I don't need the all over layers there. I will go ahead and implement my clipping mask now. And then I'll do any type of changes that I want to do. Let's say, usually when I have sleeve designs, I don't let my design get this wide for my 13 by 19 prints. But because this is an essential part to this design, I'm going to see if I can modify it. Now, what I'll do for my frame design is I am going to squish it in a little bit. And it will look a little weird because these are supposed to be circles on the outside here. But I also kind of want to remain true to my 13 by 19 layout style. So I am stretching this out a little bit, but I think in the long run it'll serve its purpose. Now for this design, I may or may not choose to keep the sleeve photos. If you take them away, that's what it'll be. And the reason why I'm taking them away is because I like to show variations with 13 by 19s. So I usually will do a shot of one with the additional photos and without. And I might even move the doves a little bit now so it doesn't interfere with the photo. You see I still had that hard edge there, but I couldn't tell because I had the dove there before. So I'll just go back to my layer mask and paint it out. And then for the photo, the wings, I'll select those together, move them around. And of course my frame doesn't, the inside frame piece doesn't match up anymore, so I'll need to modify that. But I do want to see some of that frame there. And we can even place the sleeve photos let's say we want to place them beneath the frame. So if I place those photos, no, we won't do that. But I could go ahead and reveal, like if I wanted to reveal parts of this frame, let me show you how you would do that. Put a layer mask on those photos and just paint away so that part of this frame would actually show if you wanted that to show through. Just show you all some additional techniques while you have me. And that way she's covering up the circles there, but you're still able to see the frame details. Alright, so I'm happy with that. Let's see, now I can take my frame, let's do the background, and I'm going to Control T and bring this in a little bit. I don't know if I want this to stick out further or the inside. I just want it to look a little artsy. Here we go. Now I don't know if this is 13 by 19, but when I go to my cropping tool, I want to make sure I take off delete cropped pixels. You don't want it deleting any pixels outside of this area. You want to still be able to move those layers around. I'm going to tell it 13 is my width and 19 is my height. This does not make it 13 by 19. This only makes it 13 by 19 orientation. And I will hit, it centers it for me. I'm going to hit enter. It will crop according to that 13 by 19 ratio, but it's still a huge file. So I'm going to have to save as the actual size. So let's do file. Nope. Let's do our image size. And right now it's 25 by 36. So I'm going to make it 19 inches high, and it should be right under 12. I'm at 12.99, something like that. Oops. Excuse me. You definitely want this constrained proportions on. It would have looked weird. So 19 there. I want it to be 13. So it's just like a 1/1000th off, you know, as far as the size goes, but that'll be perfectly fine. And then let's go ahead and if I hit Alt and click on this background space, it's going to zoom it in for me. I want to get furthest away from this top edge because when you're printing on something like the 7710s, it does tend to put ink on the corners of your paper the closer you print to the top of that page, and that's just the truth there. Let me go ahead. I'm going to grab everything on here, and we're going to shift down. And I have this white layer on the background here just so that I can see whatever is coming too close to my edges. I like to be able to tell if something's going to look like it's going to cut off, and maybe the Greek frame design, the drop shadow, might be a little too heavy for this small of a design, so I'll bring that down. So you do see that I put some work into converting these into 13 by 19s. It's not just a straight, you know, crop it and go type of thing. But I'm also teaching you how to edit this for yourself. If you're doing a all over and converting it to 13 by 19, you want it to make sense. That's the main thing. Make it beautiful, but make it make sense. Okay. And then let's say the Just Crystal. I forgot to tell it to, when I resized it, how long ago did I resize? Let me go back. Go to my history, image size. Okay, so I want to show you what happened. When I resized the image, I did not tell it and this is good for you to know, image size, I should have told it to scale the styles there. I don't know if it did. So I wanted to make sure of that. So the height should be 19, 13 by 19. Because I wanted to say it looked like that white outline got a little too intense for me. Like it got really big. But it looked like it kept the details on the inside. So let me go back to my layers and right click where it says just crystal. And I'm going to change the white outline here. On the month is fine. But I think this is just a little too much here. And right now I have this one at 21. I'll take the crystal, double click, change my stroke, and change that to 21 as well, maybe even more than that. 27. And now of course my drop shadow is a little heavy, so I'll bring that down too. Something else here is this frame inside. I did not scale it when I scaled the background, so that frame inside is just not going to be the same. So let me delete that layer mask. There's another version of it somewhere. There it is. Or maybe that's what it was. Let me go back before I deleted anything. Now that one is definitely off. And it's both of them. So I would have to, I guess I can show you how to do that inside frame. Let me hide the photo for you. You won't have to do this because in the template this will be done, but this will show you how to do this for yourself. Turn that off. I'm going to show you the inside of the frame there. Frame inside. Of course, I have disabled the layer mask for a moment. Go back to my frame. And I'm going to use my magic wand tool to get right inside of that frame. And basically I'm going to have to create a new layer. So layer, new layer, and I'll call this the inside frame. And we'll leave it there for now while I paint. I'm just going to use the paint bucket there and paint it white on the inside. Select, deselect. And now that I have that frame, I am going to delete the existing frame from the inside there. And I'll redo the clipping mask, so now it clips to that skinnier frame. And then same thing, there was another frame somewhere else. And I'm going to alt click and drag that frame. It was here. Now what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to delete the layer mask because I need a new layer mask. But let me show you how you would create a layer mask based on an object. So I'm going to control, you see how it turns into the marching ants, and click that thumbnail. It will select the area inside of the, or select the entire area of whatever their object is. So once I go to this folder, I can add a layer mask, and automatically it clips everything inside of that layer mask, and I don't even need that anymore. And obviously we don't have a photo inside of here. That was for before when I had a photo in there. So I'm going to turn it off. I'm just fixing that for you all in the future if that's what you want to see. So now I'll bring my photos back. You'll see that the frame now is in place and it doesn't poke out like it was doing before. And now I need to make sure that everything is cleaned up on these edges. Control T, that larger. Make sure that everything is selected and away from the top of that paper. If you care about your 7710s or 20s or whatever you're using to print, try not to print all the way to the top and bottom of the page. It just makes life simpler. All right, looks good. Looks like that is it. And yeah, I'm not gonna mess with it. All right, so that's 13 by 19 version. You could also put text across the top here, whatever you'd like to do. Maybe you want to just grab the just and put just there and crystal there. That will be up to you too. And then of course you'd have to clean this up a little bit or move that graphic down. Maybe I will do it. I'll do a different version of it. So we'll do just crystal. And now I see I need to fade this image off a little bit more. Faded that off a little bit. And there we go. And somebody asked me about typing on a path and that sort of thing. So let's do an application of it right now. Why not? So let's do a circular tool here to do an ellipse. And let's say you wanted it to go around the top of the head there. We'll do the ellipse. And we're just going to use this to type on. And if I double click that just there, copy. And then on the ellipse there, I'm going to do the regular horizontal type tool. And if you see, once I get close to a path, it changes to this little curve there. So if I hit Control V, I should paste that. And I'm going to copy the layer style from the just and paste the layer style here. And let's see what size that was. That was 393 was the size. All right, so this is what I had an issue. Now I can delete that circle and we're good there. Let's go ahead and I'm even going to delete that one. We want to rotate this, so let's take our direct selection, which would be the white arrow. And I should be able to, I'm changing the path there. There we go. So now I can rotate it about this path. Now give me just a little, and this isn't the type of font. Usually text that is script doesn't look right large scale. So let's do this instead. Let's do her motto. I can't think of what her motto was right now. Hold on. Or maybe it'll be a poem. But this was, people remember how you make them feel. It was a quote. They may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. thing. What's that? Might have been like Maya Angelou or something like that. So let's say I'm gonna put just back there. Sorry, y'all are in the midst of my mind right now, which is a dangerous place to be when I'm doing stuff like this. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and I'm gonna clear these layer effects, clear that layer style, and then I'll take that font size and let's do 20, and then we'll increase it. So if I come here, you see how I'm dragging to the right and it's increasing that size there? That looks good as far as sizing goes, but I can't read it. So let's do something like put a glow on it. So let's do an outer glow. There we go. Now we can see it a little bit better. Might have to increase that opacity. I'll bring down the spread and the size. Now in this case, I may even want to change my shape because now that I've squished this in, I don't have a perfectly round kind of frame area here, but honestly I like it round. But I can show you how, if you needed to change it, you could take your direct selection tool and click on that path and you can change the path. So now it's more oval instead. And you can even make this literally go around her head. If you wanted to trace out, you would, let's see, what is it? Alt, let me see which one it is. Yeah, Alt click. I think we'll create nodes. Is it Alt? I'm trying to create nodes on this path right now. Alt. Add an anchor point. There we go. So now I can make it kind of trace out the shape of her head. And with the wings, I give it a little space there. So if you've ever wondered how to do that, here you go. Add an anchor point here so we can get outside of those wings there. You definitely want to learn how to play with your anchor tool to do something like this. And if I don't want it touching the image, I'll just bring it out and give it a little additional space there. And then as you can see, I can change whether it goes to the inside of the shape or the outside of the shape and how it travels along. I'm trying to push it to where I get the feel right there. Okay. Now I'm showing y'all all this extra stuff I'm sure you did not come here for today, but at least you're here, you're learning. So you were, just in case you didn't know, you were done editing your template some time ago. I just happen to, every time I get an opportunity to get on here, try to show you something different. And Jesse, let me undo that one. If you're here, this is what you asked about last time. And I did look it up afterwards to make sure I could get it right for you so we can show you how you can make that text travel along a path that you make. And once I click off of that layer, I can really see how it goes with the text. And then I can also take that text, take my image and my wings, and I just hit Control while I'm doing that. Then that way I can move them all together. There it goes. All right, love. So that is it. Oh, I think I deleted that other photo. So I can have a space here where I could put another photo or maybe an image. Maybe I could have even put the Steelers image there at this point, but I think I deleted it. So, y'all have any input or any questions about what we did so far? Yep, Jesse, it did. All right, Ninja Films first timer, welcome. I hope you learned something. And if you have any questions while you have me live, that's your opportunity to ask me for the free ski. Ask me a question live, and usually I can demonstrate it if it's relative to what we're working on. So that's her quote. I'm sure she's going to love that. Lavinia, you're in the right place to learn Photoshop. This is the place. And every single time we do something, even if we're just doing, right now we're just doing a 10-minute tea template. However, even in these sessions, I try to teach you some tips, tricks, things to really delve into all of the ways that you can make anything that's in your mind come to paper or come to screen, come to t-shirt, whatever medium you're working on. So this is the remembrance version, but while I'm here, let me go ahead and open all over version. I'll save this one. But I know you saw the different variations in the screenshot, so I'll go over. I should have done this before. Oops. But I wanted to show you the variations here. So, of course, we just did the beautiful Just Crystal look. But let's say you want to do the graduation. Then I'll take off the wings photo. I think I showed you briefly what I did for this. So I have my PNG version of the grad photo cut out, but I also really like the background that she already had there. So I also clipped a version of it on the inside frame. So if you just want to just put things in the inside frame, that's perfectly fine. Nobody's going to judge you for it. But when you can, I can take this grad photo, and I have the two layers linked. And if you don't know how to do that, let me show you real quick. Let me unlink them first. But I have two photos. I want them, I did control and selected both layers. And I want them to move together, right? And this is how you really make it look 3D, like it's popping out. So I can make the top of her hat and her chair pop out of that frame. Why not? It's visually more interesting, and it definitely makes your design stand out. So all I did was bring in two versions of it, the PNG version with no background, and then the background version. And then I linked the two. So when I have both of them selected, I have a button down here. Looks like a chain, and it links. There we go. All right, so we did that. There's also ways to change the sky. So I have this cool kind of yellow and pink going on here if you were doing the sky, but for this one, I took off the sky and I did there you go. So you can still use the colors, and then maybe I want to use the animal prints instead of the sky prints. You just turn things off and on, like play with this. You can even go from just like black. If you wanted to fade it from black to the bottom or black to the top. That's all your prerogative. You have those options here. That's black. Now this design does look really clean on black too. You can take that off and do the black and white. Do the cheetah print at the top. The options are endless, and I try not to overwhelm y'all by putting too many options on here, but I do want you to have something to really play with. And this black, I think I'm gonna bring it below. Or Or no, I liked it up top. This is me trying to figure things out too right in front of y'all. Alright, so it's our black background. I showed you how we can do colors, so you might want to do solid color. These are gradients. I use gradients because it lets me get away with doing just different colorways and playing around with it without having to be so strategic about where I put color. So yeah, this rainbow colorway, I call this like the Lisa Frank colorway here. Let me take off the black. So that Lisa colorway is really Lisa Frank. You know, when we used to get those folders and pencils and stuff back in the day. I think they're still popular. But yeah, so you might want to go with the Lisa Frank kind of theme. You might have colors for the school. Now this one, I played with the blend mode on this one. So this one is on color. So if you change it from, let's see, this one is on multiply. That one's on color. If I were to change this one to multiply, there we go. Ooh, color burn looks really good too. Yeah, I can play with this all day. So yeah, play with this all day. Then that way I don't have to. And I'm trying to see if there are any other layers that I didn't turn off for you. So yeah, the color and the clear text is there. You also have the gold text. Same thing there. You just would type there, double click, change the text there. And this just gives you some things to start off with. You're always going to end up modifying these to where you get comfortable playing with the text, playing with the effects, and that sort of thing. So there we have it. Any questions on changing those layers and things up from the template? Thanks, Lavina. I appreciate it. So I think that's it for this template. I have one more to show you all, and I think I did put it up last night. It is the gold heart, and I'm gonna churn it. I'm gonna churn it into butter. No, I'm gonna turn it into a Mother's Day design because I realize with everything that's going on, it's fast approaching, and want to make sure that we're recognizing those fantastic moms and mother figures out there in the world. So so we'll get on that one next. If I don't have any more questions, I'm going to log off for about 10 minutes and I'll come back live with the next edit. Lavina, do I have beginner lessons? It's really hard to say like a beginner lesson. I do have some. If you look up the word quick, if you search for the word quick in my videos, I have some quick tips, and those help you with some type of regular challenges like cutting out the background, fading off the images, that sort of thing. But really this type of stuff, my greatest suggestion would be for you to get a template and watch the video literally from like beginning to end and really try to do the things that I do with the templates, because that will get your confidence up and working with a lot of things at once, and you'll realize it's not just a beginner's type of thing. It really is a what can I achieve that I want to see done, because I can teach you 10 hours worth of learning tools from Photoshop and you wouldn't remember not one bit of it because it didn't actually produce something that you wanted to produce. So I also do one-on-one sessions if you're interested in that. If you really want to go, start something from scratch, I can absolutely do that with you. If you want to do it live, typically what I do is I give you a template for free if you do a live session. Otherwise, it's $60 an hour. Either way, it's $60 an hour, and we can do it either private or live. And don't be afraid of live. I'm a really good live teacher, so I don't embarrass you or anything like that. So if you're considering that, let me know. If you join the Innate Creatives Facebook group, then I'm able to help you out a little bit more there too. Alrighty, love. So I will check y'all in a little bit and do another live session in about 10 minutes. Love you guys. Bye.